Hi everyone, welcome to Java Techie. In today's world of digital transaction, integrating payment gateway has become an essential skill for developers, isn't it? Whether you are building an e-commerce platform or a subscription-based services, almost every modern application needs a reliable payment solution. And one of the most popular choice out there is Stripe, which is a trusted leading payment gateway used by countless websites across the world. So in this tutorial, I'll walk you through the step-by-step process of integrating Stripe with your Spring Boot application. Okay, alright. So without any further delay, let's get started. So to demonstrate this Stripe integration, let's create a new Spring Boot project. You can open the Spring Initializer, and if you observe, we are using 3.4.0, which is the latest Spring Boot version. Then define all the required field. Next, add the required dependency. So I'll add web dependency. Then I need Lombok. Then also I just want to add Thymeleaf to just show you the UI integration. Then we'll add the Stripe dependency. Okay, so it is not available in Spring Initializer. We need to explicitly add the dependency in our POM. Now generate this project and import it to the IntelliJ IDEA. Now after import it to the IntelliJ IDEA, I'll just walk you through the pom.xml. So if you see here, we are using the latest Spring Boot version, that is 3.4.0 and JDK21. Then we just added these three dependency, right? Next we just need to add the Stripe dependency. So if you observe here, I already copied the Stripe dependency. I'm not sure whether this is the latest version or not. You can add the latest Stripe Java dependency. Okay, so just go to your pom.xml and just paste this dependency, then just update your project. All good. Now to start with the Stripe, first you need to create a Stripe account. Okay, so once you have account, then we'll get the secret key which you can configure from your code. So already I created a Stripe account, but I will just show you how you can generate the secret key. So I'll just open this link. I'll also share this documentation link in video description so that you guys can refer it. Just open this. Then if you have already account, then you can provide the credential. If not, click on create account. Then provide the email ID, full name and any password you want to set, and then country. So let me fill these details. Then just choose the country. So if I'll type India, I have the option. Stripe is available by invite only in India. So to add the India as a country for your account, you need to request an invite. So I don't want to do that. For now, let's keep it USA only. Okay, United States. Now click on create account. Next, it will just redirect you to the developers page where you can see your publishable key, and this is the secret key. Just click on this. You can see the secret key which is begin with SK, right? So just keep a note of these two key which you can configure in your code. Now also you need to remember, by default this test mode is enabled, so you no need to touch it. Let it be in test mode so that this Stripe will give you one test card which you can play without using the real money for your testing. Okay, so I'm not going to use these two key since already I have the account. I'll just close this. This is what I have the account. Okay, I already have the publishable key and secret key which I already copied here. So I will use these two, publishable key and secret key. So publishable key will begin with PK, secret key will begin with SK. You just keep a note of these two key from your account. Now let's go to our code. We'll use this key. First, let's start creating couple of packages. So just go inside the src, then just create the package called service, controller and DTO or anything you want. So let's begin with the service first. I will create a service class called Stripe service. Just annotate @service. Now it's very simple, guys. So to connect with the Stripe, Stripe provide you the API, right? So what it expect you to pass to call the Stripe API, it needs few input from you. What is the product name, what you want to purchase, then what is the price of it, what is the number of quantity you need, fine, then the last, on which currency you want to pay. So these are the 4 field or 4 input Stride API need to connect to the payment gateway. So for that, what you can do, let's create a DTO with this field first. So just go to your DTO package. Then you can give any name, let's say product request or checkout request or payment request, anything you can give, okay? So let me give product request. Then just add the attribute, amount, quantity, name and currency. Then you just need to use the Lombok dependency, okay? Just add all argument constructor, just add no argument constructor. This is my input request to the Stripe API. Now once your Stripe API will execute, it will give you return statement as a, session ID and URL, checkout URL, which you can use to complete your payment process, okay? So this will be my return type. So for that, I will also create a response, okay? So just create another DTO. You can name it Stripe response. Then just define the field, status, message, session ID and session URL. So this status and message I just added to show you the result of your payment, okay? So again just use the Lombok annotation. All good. Now since you have the request and response, now let me write the method public who will return the Stripe response to you. So give any method name, okay? Checkout product. Now just pass the product request. So here nothing to remember, guys. So the logic whatever I am going to write inside this method, I will directly use the Stripe specific API or Stripe specific classes, okay? So you no need to remember that is the inbuilt to the Stripe, but you need to understand what you are doing here. So this is the product request. This field I will pass to the Stripe API. Now at very first step, what you can do, you can define what is your API key. Stripe.api key. What is your API key? You can directly copy it from the notepad, I mean wherever you have copied it. Just copy the secret key and paste it. But this is not a good approach. For now, what you can do, keep it in a properties file. Just add something like stripe.secret key, something like that. Now load this value. So you know how to load the properties file. Private string, just define secret, just use @value annotation, just define the key, okay? So instead of hard code, in the code just remove it, just assign the secret key to the API key, fine. This is the first step you need to do. You cannot skip this, otherwise your Spring Boot app cannot connect to the Stripe account, okay? So that is the reason we generate these two key, right? Secret key and publishable key. Now what next? Now you need to tell to the Stripe saying that, okay, I want to purchase some product called X of quantity 1, amount is 200 in Indian currency. Those information you need to give as a line item to Stripe, okay? So what you can do, I'll just write for one, then we can simply copy paste. So just define session create param. Okay, make sure to import it from the Stripe dot line item dot price data dot product data dot builder. Okay, then just build what you want to pass. So I want to pass the product name. Where I will get the product name? I will get it from product request. Okay, so simple. These things, this is something I am getting from the Stripe jar. Okay, so you need to follow the pattern offered by the Stripe. So you need to use their class to build the request body the way Stripe need from you. So I have set the product name, then just build it. Just define the variable. So you can define product data, something like that. Okay, now similar way you also need to set the price, currency and quantity. Now what I'll do, I'll just copy this. Now I'll set the price for the product. Okay, price data dot builder dot set amount, right? What is there? Set currency is there. Dot set amount, yeah, unit amount. Now the amount I will get it from product request dot get amount. Now currency, on which currency you want to pay or you want to implement your payment logic. Do you want in USD, I mean dollar, or do you want in INR, Indian rupees? So it is up to you. Currently let's not hard code it. What we'll do, we'll check if input contain any currency, then add it. Otherwise just by default consider as a USD. Okay, so I'll simply add product request dot get currency. If it is not equal to null, or just define if it is equal to null, then set the USD. Otherwise just get the currency and pass it. Okay, so in this way the API will not fail. Then just build it. Just add a return statement. You can give any name. Let's keep it price data. Fine. So we have provided the product name, then price of it, and on which currency you want to pay. Now what is the left? The next we need to define only the quantity. Okay, so just add here session create params dot line items dot builder, then set the value, set quantity, get it from product request, get quantity. Okay, now to this line item also set the price data, which we already fetch. Okay, then just build it. Then just define the variable to it. You can give it just line item. See, that is the reason I am saying these are the class given by Stripe API. We are just playing with them by just setting the value what Stripe need. Okay, all good. Now what next? You need to create a session and pass this data to that session. I mean this parameter you need to pass to the session. So just use session create. Okay, so you need to first build the parameter for session, then you can create the session object and pass this parameter. So session create params dot builder, then dot set the mode. Okay, so the mode will be payment only, session create parameter, then just set the success URL, which is nothing, localhost 8080 success. Similarly just set the cancel URL, just change it to cancel. Okay, if there is a success you want to navigate to this endpoint, if there is a cancel you want to navigate to this endpoint. That's the changes. then just add the line item where you have added all your details, then just build it. Simple thing. Again, I'm trying to repeat. So you have the product data. Okay, I didn't set here, right? Dot set product data. So you have built the product data by giving the product name from your request. Then you have the product data ready. Now you create the price data by setting the currency and amount, and also the product data which you created, you are attaching that to the price data. Now this price data what you have created, you are creating a line item by setting a quantity, and you are setting a price data. Okay, now this line item have all the information about the price, quantity, currency and name. Okay, so that is the reason I have given the line item here. So we have created the session parameter. Just define the variable, name it params. Okay, now create the session and give these params to execute. So what you can do to create a session, I will just use session. Make sure to import it from the Stripe only. Now just use the try catch session dot create, then give the parameters, session parameters which we just build, then just assign it. This will give you the error. Which type of error it will throw? Stripe exception, right? Can you see here? So just catch that stripe exception. Then just add the log statement. For now I will just add sysout ex.get messages. Okay, so we are going step by step, don't be confused. Now we have created the session. This session can be execute further. Okay, once this will execute with your payment information, then from the session you can extract the what is that, what is our response, session id and session url. So if there is a failure, you won't find this value. So just go here, then just build our return type, which is stripe response dot builder dot build, then set each and every value what we have defined. So set, what is the first method, I mean the variable, status message session id and session url. Status you can define the constant. For now I am hard coding here. Then message, then just add the session id which will get it from the session object only, session dot get id, then map the session url, get it from session dot get url. Where there is a warning, okay, it could produce null pointer exception. Fine, you can also validate object required not null, you can do that, but let it be, let's not make it complex. This is the simple step we have done here. Okay, now just quickly let's define an endpoint and call this method. So I'll create a controller class, just define REST controller, just define root url saying slash product slash v1, then quickly define a REST endpoint who will just trigger the Stripe service method. So inject that Stripe service first. I'll use the constructor injection so that I will not use the auto add. So this is recommended way to inject your bean in Spring 4.3x onwards if you have a single constructor. Fine. Now I'll just define a method public who will return me the response entity, or you can also keep a plain object response entity of type Stripe response. Okay, so check out products, then give the product request as an input. Just define request body because this will be the post request, right, post mapping, and we are giving this value. So just define here post mapping and define the URL checkout. Then nothing to do, just call the Stripe service. Okay, Stripe service dot checkout products, give the product object, then assign a return, the local variable Stripe response, just map it to the return type, the result, return response entity dot, what is the status, which is nothing, your Stripe response. So this is what our endpoint. This will trigger this method, and we have assigned the secret key which we get from the Stripe as a API key, and then we are setting each and every value, giving it to the session parameter, then we are executing the session, we are creating the session. Once everything is ready, we are returning the result. So for the best practices, you can do one thing, you keep one return statement from the try with the success, one from the catch with the failure. You can do that, but let it be for now. Okay, so looks good. Now what we can do, let's trigger this particular endpoint to validate whether we can use the Stripe to complete the payment or not. Okay, so let me start the server, go to the main class, just run it. So it started on port 8080. Go to the postman, then add a new post request, then just add the request body of type JSON with all the field, amount, currency, name and price. Okay, whatever the field we have defined here in the product request, let's add that as a payload. So just add it. Amount is 100 in USD, but first let's try with the Indian currency. I'll give 10,000. Okay, so give some different product name. So in Stripe, if you are using Indian currency, not IND man, it should be INR, right? Then the amount will be converted to the paisa. Okay, so 1000 rupees means nothing, 1000 paisa divided by 100. Okay, so what I'll do now, I'll just send the request. So we got the success result. Can you see here the response with the session URL? Just copy this URL, then just go to the browser and just send this request. Can you see here? I have given 1000, but the price it is taking 100 rupees. So you need to pass in the paisa, because that is what the restriction added by the Stripe. Stripe don't support Indian currency directly. You need to pass the currency in form of the paisa. Okay, that's fine. Now just give the email ID on which you have created your account. I have created using javatechie.learning, this one, and you must need to provide this card number. This is the test card. So 4242, like this you need to pass, and the expiry date will be 12/34. 567 is the CVC. You must need to pass this value. This is something, the test card you can play for testing. Fine. Now just click on pay. Now before that, I just want to show you, currently I don't have any transaction for today. Can you see here? Let me refresh. Yeah, so currently the price is 0. Now let me click on this checkout and we'll see the result. So payment is done, it redirect to the success. We didn't map any HTML, so this is fine, there is no error. If you'll go and check in the console, there is no error. Fine. Now if you'll go and check your dashboard, developer dashboard, can you see here? Today 1.17. Can you see here? Now let's do one thing. What I'll do, I'll just give $10 or $100 in currency USD, and I will purchase something, let's say mobile. Okay, Now if I'll send the request, I got the response. Now just copy this URL, go to the Chrome browser and just hit this particular session URL again. We have given $10, right? Why it's taking $1? Any idea why it is showing $1? It's straightforward, guys. Stripe has some set of limitation. You cannot directly pass the amount in dollar because Stripe requires the amount to be specified in the smallest currency unit. So for dollar, the smallest unit is cents. For example, here we are seeing $1 because we have given 100, right? So let me explain you. $1 equal to 100 cents. Similarly, if you want to pass the $100, okay, then you need to multiply it with 100. 100 into 100. The output will be 10,000. Okay. So if you will give 10,000 as a input, Stripe internally find the subunit of it and will convert to the corresponding currency. This is something kind of generic approach. Stripe use this design to maintain consistency across currency, as different currency have different smallest unit, right? For every currency you cannot have a some set of rule, rather make it generic. So that is the reason this value is getting evaluated. Now to test it, what I will do, I will go to the Postman and I will change it to the 10,000. Now if I will give 10,000 divided by 100, it should be $100. Okay, let's send the request. Copy the session URL. Then just refresh here only. Can you see here? Are you able to see $100 here? Okay, now let me give the email ID. Choose the test card. Now if I will submit here, we landed to the success page. That's fine. Now go to the dashboard and if you will scroll down, can you see here? $101.17. So $1.17 we have tried with the Indian currency. It was converted to the dollar. Then $100 we have just tried it, right? So what Stripe suggests you, play with the subunit rather than giving a bigger number. Play with its subunit. Okay. So we are successfully able to do the payment processing using Stripe from our Spring Boot application. And so far we have tried using the Postman, right? We are sending the request, then it is giving us the session URL, then we are copy this URL and trying to complete the payment processing. So rather than doing it, what I can do now, I will quickly add couple of front-end code. When I am saying front-end code, we have added the Thymeleaf. So let's add the index.html. From there we will trigger this particular call, and once we will get the response, by default we will redirect to this session URL. Okay, then from there we can perform the payment processing. So I have the HTML code ready with me. I'll quickly do the code change in our application. Then I will share the link in video description so that you can also modify the front end as per your need, or if you want to customize you can do that. So just go to our code. Now if you observe, we have the resource folder, then we have template. So inside these templates, just add the page called index.html, success.html and cancel.html. Now if you will check in the index.html, I'll just give you some high level overview about what I have done here. So I have added some CSS style, and then if you see here, I am showing three different images: smartphone.jpg with some default price, you can see here $150. Then similarly I have headphone, then I have laptop with some default price hard coded to it. Okay, then next I have just given the publishable key here. So then I am getting each and every value, and if you see here, I am just building the request, create payment request. This is my request DTO. Then I am doing the post API call to the same /product/b1/checkout. Okay, and the object I am giving in the form of JSON Same thing what I am doing here, JSON to this particular endpoint, I am doing same here using the JavaScript code. Fine. Then at the end, once we get the response, I am redirecting to the Stripe session ID. Okay, so what I will do, let me add this image file. Okay, so it needs to place inside images. So go here, then we have something called static, then I have created this package.images. Just paste the images here. It's just the image which I download from the internet to just display in the UI. Okay, fine, close everything. Then the last thing we need to do, we'll create a config class to allow the course origin. Okay, so I will mention, okay, post request can be allowed to access this if the port ending with 8080 and if the URL pattern is like this. I can define my web config to avoid the course issue. So just go to the config, then I have already created this class, nothing is there. If you see here, add course mapping, if URL is coming with this URL and if the port and host is this, if the method type is post, then only allow that request to access my backend code. Okay, so you can customize it based on your need, that's absolutely fine. So I don't think anything we need to add. Okay, so to display the index page and to display the success page, what I can do, I will create another controller class here saying that home controller. Then, okay, spelling mistake. Then just annotate here @controller because we want to return the view page. Okay, so public string display the index page, return the index. Nothing to do. If you hit localhost 8080, I want this page needs to be rendered. Similarly, I also want to do for success. If I hit the success URL, it needs to return the success.html, which is nothing, this one. So it will just print some string, payment successful or something like that. Okay, I believe all good. Let's restart the server. So it started. Just go to the Chrome, then just do one thing, localhost 8080. Can you see here? These images we have hard coded, right? We just kept this hard coded image in our static images folder, and we also hard coded the price in dollar, and the default is 1. Now let's say I want this headphone to purchase, but I want to purchase 2. So just increase the count here. It is 2 now. Also let me inspect it so that we can check what is the exact request this frontend is sending to backend. Now just click on checkout. So if you see this checkout payload, $50, right? $50 will be converted to the 5,000 cents, and for one quantity it is 5,000 cents. For 2 quantity it is 10,000 cents, right? So that is the reason you can see here $100. The price is $50. We choose 2 product. I mean the quantity is 2. So 50 into 2 will be $100. Can you see here? Now let me process the payment. Java Techie.learning. You can give any email ID. It's just for the just for the demo. Okay. Give the card. Then just click on pay. We can see the HTML page. Now if you will go to your page and if you will refresh it, you will see the output. Yeah, can you see here? 201.17. Now let's try some bigger size. Okay, so this smartphone is $150. I want to order 3, which will be $450. I don't know whether I have the threshold or it has some limit, but let's try it out. Click on checkout. See here, each price is converted to the cents, then into 3, and you are seeing the result here, right? $150 per each and quantity is 3, multiply will be $450. So just give some email ID. I'll give this one also, that's fine. Give the card details. Now everyone can use the same card details. This is the test card details. Now click on pay. If you'll see the statistic, yeah, can you see here? $651.17, and we are running in a test mode. So if you want to really integrate this to your application in real time, just complete this profile, enable the subscription for your country, and just start playing with this particular Stripe payment gateway. The approach will be same as it is. You can customize it based on your need. So for Stripe service, I can handle the currency converter logic here, or I can create a handler who will deal about the currency converter. So while setting the price here, what is this amount, right? I can multiply with 1000 here only, 1000 or 100. Okay, so you can customize your code based on your need, but this is how at high level you can integrate your application to the Stripe payment gateway. And also we have tried with both backend and front-end approach, so you can give a try by integrating this Stripe to your existing application, or you can create a fresh application. And do let me know in a comment section if you guys have any doubts. That's all about this particular video, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Meet you soon with a new concept.